Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We have quite a bit of news to go over. Let's go ahead and get straight to it. And first up, the global bond markets are imploding. France's 30-year bond yield hit 4.855% this week, its highest level since the 2008 financial crisis. After the US, Japan, Korea, and the UK, France is moving towards a bond crisis too. So yeah, just add another piece to the puzzle of this absolute mess. Wells Fargo is in XRP. Wells Fargo, one of the largest US banks, has $2.1 trillion in total assets and $2.5 trillion in client assets, shows approximately $9.18 million in Bitwise XRP ETF exposure. So $1.39 million, $7.79 million, a bank of this scale disclosing millions in XRP ETF exposure is worth watching. And up next, JP Morgan, MasterCard, Ripple, and Ondo redeemed tokenized US Treasuries across borders. Settled on the XRP ledger in about 5 seconds outside banking hours. So just in, everyone read this as 5 seconds versus 3 days. The real story is bigger. This was the first time Connexus, JP Morgan's private blockchain, ever connected to a public blockchain in a live transaction. Of every chain on Earth, the first public ledger JP Morgan's rails touched was the XRP ledger. The anatomy of the trade. Ripple redeemed tokenized US Treasuries, Ondo's OUSG on the XRPL. Asset leg cleared in under 5 seconds. MasterCard's multi-token network routed the instruction. Connexus debited the account, and JP Morgan's correspondent network wired dollars to Singapore. All of it outside banking hours on a trade bank, quote, 1 to 3 days for. One leg on a public blockchain, one leg on bank rails, a single integrated flow. The wall between Wall Street and the XRPL did not crack, it just got a door. And up next, billionaire hedge fund manager Izzy Englander's Millennium Management, managing $87 billion plus, just disclosed exposure to 4 XRP ETFs. Bitwise XRP ETF at over 495,000 shares, Canary XRP ETF over 772,000 shares, Franklin XRP Trust over 88,000 shares, and Grayscale XRP Trust over 42,000 shares. That's 1.39 million XRP ETF shares worth approximately $16.2 million. One of the world's biggest multi-strategy hedge funds is spreading its XRP exposure across multiple ETF issuers. A private Chinese aerospace company just got tokenized on the XRP ledger. SpaceX is already there. Read that again. Okay, I will. A private Chinese aerospace company just got tokenized on the XRP ledger. SpaceX is already there. Hanyu Aerospace Technology, or HAT, builds avionics, satellite systems, and autonomous flight tech. Private, Chinese, now tradable in 3 seconds. And it sits in the same order book as the SpaceX. No exchange on Earth can do this. The New York Stock Exchange will never list a private Chinese aerospace firm. Shanghai will never list SpaceX. Neither one lists private companies to retail at all. 2 rival superpower aerospace champions, side by side, settling on the same neutral ledger. Because the XRP ledger doesn't have a nationality, closing bell, or an accreditation form. Politics stops at borders. Value does not. A very, very wise post there. Bank of America just showed up on the XRP ETF cap table. Fresh 13F-HR filed today discloses a 13,260 share position in a volatility shares XRP ETF. Wall Street's biggest names are quietly stacking XRP. And XRP hits generational oversold levels. Yeah, it's down bad. No way to sugarcoat that. It is down a lot. As the price goes lower, it's easier for institutions and retail to buy more, accelerating consumption of supply. And this is because XRP whales accumulate 72 million tokens in just 24 hours, as the token hits its weakest close since November 2024, and that's per sentiment. So price needs to be pushed up for stability and liquidity. It needs to be able to sit on more balance sheets. Once supply event happens, price will increase, then utility kicks in, then XRP gets locked up as collateral, makes price go up. As we've discussed for months now, it'll begin with Japan. So ones to keep an eye on are Japan, Korea, and Singapore. I would say you also really need to see what's going on with France now. So why would BRICS nations use Western technology? This is a common question regarding BRICS' use of Ripple's technology. Here's the answer. BRICS countries do not have to invent their new payment systems from scratch. They also have no strong reason to avoid it completely. Western central banks already sit as observers in Project MBRIDE, now BRICS Bridge. This confirms a Western presence within the BRICS framework that they are comfortable with. Despite migrating to a non-dollar settlement network, the economies of BRICS nations will always overlap with non-BRICS countries. Western institutions will remain involved in BRICS Bridge because the trade flows matter. They cannot afford to stay outside. BRICS nations, however, will keep control on their system, while Western institutions will connect with it. And XRP open interest is now getting close to the same levels we saw around the 10-10 liquidation event. For anyone that doesn't understand what that means, open interest is basically the amount of leverage futures positions currently open on XRP. The higher it gets, the more leverage is sitting in the market while waiting for something to happen. It doesn't tell us whether XRP is about to pump or dump. It tells us the market is getting loaded for volatility. And that's what makes this interesting. We could absolutely sweep lower first, wipe out the over leveraged longs, V bottom, and then squeeze the shorts all the way back up. Or XRP could just start ripping, liquidate the shorts, and turn them into forced buyers as price moves higher. Either way, the leverage is building. The spring is getting tighter. Someone is about to get liquidated, and I have a feeling XRP is about to get very interesting. Brad Garlinghouse will meet with Trump next week. As always, XRP is at the center of it all, and this is coming as it's being reported that Trump will personally attend Wednesday's crypto summit, joined by the heads of both the SEC and CFTC. Executives from Coinbase, Ripple, A16Z, Chainlink, Paradigm, and Kalshi are expected in the room. And from Phil, he says, I believe in XRP, but there's a very important player in the ecosystem that seriously needs to step up their game. The XRP army deserves better. I am very curious to see who you guys think this is. I think a lot of people are pointing fingers at Brad Garlinghouse, but what do you guys think? All right, so institutional XRP exposure. Susquehanna International Group disclosed multiple XRP ETF positions in its latest SEC 13F. You have Bitwise XRP at 53,000 shares, Franklin at 22,000, 2X XRP at 10,200, Canary XRP at 61,300 call options. Evernorth has stated an intent to use proceeds from its capital raising and upcoming NASDAQ listing via its merger with Armada Acquisition Core 2 to fund open market acquisitions of XRP. Evernorth business model is entirely around acquisition of XRP and driving the price up. An XRP bridge was drained because it believed deposits that never happened. An attacker exploited deposit detection logic on the bridge linking the XRP ledger to the TX chain, minting bridged XRP against transactions that delivered nothing, then swapping it back for real XRP. Roughly 200,000 went out across 94 payments. Every payment was correctly signed by 17 of 28 relayers. The bridge's own record said the deposits were real, Ripple's ledger was never compromised, and TX ecosystem says bridge XRP on its chain is no longer fully backed. And lastly, let's go ahead and see what's going on with the price movement of XRP. Well, we are still sitting at about $1. Currently at $1 and how do I even describe this? 1.0021. It's up 0.36%. Yeah, it's essentially $1. On the day, it started off below $1, which is very interesting. We did close out yesterday below the $1 range, but just barely by the hair of its chinny chin. It is sitting above the daily VWAP. Not a great thing. I mean, it's not bad, I should say. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. It's just slightly up above it. Ideally, we would see that on a longer time frame, but we've been progressively moving our way down here, almost like a ladder system. Just look how progressive this is, guys. We had a run up here on July 21st, big push up, 3 days down, 2 up, massive crash, 3 days up, 2 days down, 1 up, 5 down, 1 up, 2 down, 1 up, down, up, down, up. Yeah, it's essentially just let's zoom out even more. It's essentially just been working its way down and down, down and down and down and down. Over 1 year, this is very depressing to see. Short position of crossover technical indicators suggested back on July 28th. Lo and behold, it has worked its way further down there. And I'm curious when the next technical indicator is going to flash. I essentially created an algorithm system so it crosses over several different indicators and then finds these potential entry points for longs or shorts. As it is, we're also looking at support at under 99 cents. If it goes up, try to break above $1.05. Above that, $1.11, $1.13 on the median line of the Fibonacci retracement zone. Still looking at support at $1, and below that, I would go all the way down to 86 cents. That's what I got for you guys in today's video. Thank you so much, everybody. Be safe. God bless. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.